And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to FSL Qualifiers Philippines. I'm still Spoots. He's still hungry. And this is gonna be Sanzuwu
Sanzuwu.
against
No more Wu jokes, please. I'm done.
I'm just pronouncing
Okay,
their
okay,
name.
okay. Then try this. Okay, so we've been trying to figure out how we
Yeah.
go about approaching um their opposition's name, but I think we just arrived at calling them the Tigers to
Yeah.
not make ourselves
Ja-
feel
ja-
bad.
z-
No,
not the
no.
Tigers.
Yeah, we're staying
Yes,
away from that.
the
But
Tigers.
we are into picks and bans. We see the Aatrox, Morgana, as well as Renekton banned out. Lucian Instalock. Meanwhile, Ari, Leona, and MF banned out. Ari, so far today we were talking about, has been a 100% pick ban. Similar to the Vietnam qualifiers, where it was also 100% pick ban. Won't be surprised if we see a Jarvan sometime here, considering its high prevalence, not only in the Philippine qualifiers, but also the Vietnam and Thai qualifiers.
Yeah, in fact, in the global, I think,
Yeah.
in the global meta, Jarvan, I think most people agree is the best jungler right now.
Yeah.
Going full to Juani afterwards is significantly weaker because you don't have, the same kind of priority.
Mm.
You don't have the same kind of objective take that, champions like the Jarvan, like the Elise have. But picking up the Rakan still quite a decent pick right now. I
Yeah.
think it just throws out the gauntlet. Are you gonna pick the? Oh no, they already have the Lucian. So this
Yeah.
is either they ban it in the second phase or the Tigers manage to pick it up here.
The thing was also is that when I see someone play Rakan, it's very much dependent on the pilot. The person who
Yeah.
plays the Rakan has to be good. And a good example of this is if you watch Team Liquid, how Core JJ plays the Rakan, consistently roaming off the side, making use of the mobility that Rakan has to threaten the engage, right? With the quickness as well as the grand entrance. And now pair with Xayah, this is like my favorite combo in bot lane.
Yeah.
Guaranteed level 1 power just from virtue of being Xayah Rakan.
Yeah, Xayah Rakan right now, like I think always actually is just S tier, right?
Yeah.
The best bot lane duo you can have. Nautilus Lucian, not one of my favorite combos,
Yeah.
but I think it's still quite viable in this current patch.
The thing is, you can still flex the Lucian, right? You can still
yeah.
put Lucian in the mid lane, you can put Lucian in the top lane. So this is, for all intents and purposes, a flex pick. But like you say, Lucian Nautilus, not premium.
Like you said, Lucian very strong in the mid lane. Interested to see what
You're
they decide to
scared.
ban out.
Good to
Akali,
know.
Kiana, pretty standard this patch.
If this is the case and they're moving towards power bans and power picks, I feel like you have to remove Mordekaiser here if you are on the Sanzuwu side, just because giving Mordekaiser over right now means that they can counterflex Mordekaiser as well. Although Lucian into Mordekaiser isn't the worst thing, but the Mordekaiser just brings so much more to the table.
Right, taking away the Ornn, so we're taking away some of the tankier champions right now.
Aatrox being banned out, Ornn being banned out, actually now thins the top lane pool quite a lot, and
Yeah.
Renekton as well, right? So all of the traditional strong top laner tanks that disrupt the front line have been removed.
Yeah, and now they do have the opportunity, like I said, to pick up Mordekaiser here for
This
themselves.
thing goes for the Diana, okay.
Yeah, the Diana, obviously a dive champion, not exactly.
So if you are Sanzuwu right now, you instantly go for the Mordekaiser. I think the call right now for Sanzuwu, go for the Mordekaiser, and you don't have to worry about getting a bad matchup in the top lane. If you do want the Cassio, you can do Cassio Mortar. Yep, this is completely fine. Your damage mix is pretty good just because you still have the Lucian, you still have the Jarvan, and your side laning with Cassio or Mordekaiser, if they do get a hit, either one of them, very fearsome.
Yeah, pretty strong standard composition coming in from the side of Sanzu. A bit of a contrast from their previous game, I think. Meanwhile, on the side of the Tigers, we do see, Diana's not something we've seen lately. I'm not sure if she was actually enabled last.
She was enabled,
Okay.
but was banned out quite a bit. I've been playing, experimenting a lot with Diana in solo queue. I think she's probably one of the best mid lane assassins, as it were. She fits more into a bruiser style assassin in the sense that she can burst you down if you're a squishy target, but she can also take extended fights because of Conqueror.
Yeah, super strong right now, especially after the changes, making her actually, she's actually a champion now at level 3, level 4, level 5.
Back then, like, if you didn't have level 6, there's no way you're all in. You just
Yeah.
sit under your turret and just farm and hope to God you don't fall behind CS.
And so this is an interesting dynamic in the mid lane when you have the assassin bruiser, like you called it, against the Cassiopeia. I think it comes down to execution once again, who's able to land the skill shots on whom.
Fun fact, I learned this the hard way when I was playing the Cassio into the Diana matchup. When Diana Luna rushes you, Cassiopeia cannot pop the Petrifying Gaze
Is that right?
when it arrives, because when Luna rushes, she arrives behind you.
Oh.
If you pop Petrifying Gaze the moment she arrives, you're gonna miss, definitely. And I don't know if Missy Hops is aware of this interaction. I actually learned this in solo queue. The Luna Rush puts Diana behind you. So unless you cast it the point when she's in transit, otherwise you're probably gonna miss.
Ah, okay. That
So you pretty much have to like call it early.
All right, so fun facts with Diana.
Like I played this matchup quite a few times. I
Okay.
play as the Diana, I play as the Cassiopeia. The intricacies of this is the Diana has to sort of lose the lane gracefully until about level 3,
Mhm.
and then you can opt for certain windows to trade. Of course, Cassiopeia, being ranged and having twin fangs,
Yeah.
allows you to see as much better in terms of controlling the wave. Cassio, if she freezes the wave, like you just lose the matchup. Diana cannot reset the wave safely.
Yeah, you would think that, with the advantages that you just lined out for
Mhm.
Cassiopeia and the fact that, Jarvan is on Cassiopeia's side,
Yeah.
if they do decide to go in on this mid lane, it's going to be pretty difficult for Diana to deal
Mm.
with. No escapes,
Yeah.
only ability to go in. And yeah,
The wave control is super important here, but if they do end up in a 2v2 situation because you have Sejuani, which can proc the permafrost with melee attacks, this 2v2 becomes a lot more tricky just by nature of the interaction. Sejuani can Arctic Assault Jarvan out of the EQ. You can proc permafrost very quickly with double melee. Diana gets bonus attack speed when she casts spells. This sort of small things. I think in the 2v2, I probably favor the Diana Sejuani more.
yeah, 100%. I think, even at this point, I'm not sure. Uh, I'm not exactly sure how to phrase this. I think
Mhm.
giving away the Jarvan and the Cassiopeia is actually pretty, well, not good.
It's
What
it's
can I
a
say?
show of like confidence saying if you guys
Yeah.
want to play your power picks, it's fine because we probably have something planned. And the Urgot kind of speaks out to me as well. It's not something you randomly pick up like, oh,
Mm.
well, we don't have any idea how to work the Urgot, so we're just gonna pick it to be a safe laner against Mordekaiser. I feel like this Urgot has some sort of tool when it comes to team fighting here because they probably understand that they just need strong frontliners that can hold their own. With in this case probably Urgot and Conqueror, Sejuani with Aftershock, and just hold space for Xayah and Rakan and Diana to effectively do damage.
Yeah, not to mention that Urgot is actually one of the picks that I think is able to beat Mordekaiser in the lane in the 1v1 because, Mordekaiser very oppressive
Mm.
dispatch. But Urgot has always been that strong rock in the top lane, able to dish out continuous damage in that 1v1.
Yeah.
And I think if any champion is going to beat Mordekaiser, one of them is going to be Urgot.
As long as Urgot goes for early Executioner's Calling
Yeah.
to mitigate the heal from the Mordekaiser shield, you should be fine. And of course, spacing is super important, right? How you space against the Mordekaiser because if you know how Mordekaiser's Q works, there's a small delay when you cast it, right?
Mhm.
The closer you are to Mordekaiser, the easier it is to pivot
Yep,
away
yeah.
from the angle he's casting it from. So think of it like this way, right? If he's going forward this way and you pivot sideways, it's harder for him to react. So as long as the Urgot is kiting around the Mordekaiser properly and pivoting away from the Q, you actually do pretty well into the trade.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Urgot
Yeah.
wants to do, right? He wants to be right next to
Mm.
you, right? Wants to be in your face and wants to be walking around you so he procs all his shotgun
Yep.
licks. So this dynamic in the top lane is actually pretty good for the Urgot
Yeah.
if she's able rather
Yeah.
to play the matchup well.
If you misplay though, for example, if you allow the Darkness Rises to pop off, that's
Yeah.
when it becomes a bit trickier because being nearby also, you're just going to be taking percentage damage. So I think the best way is just to early on chip down, and then when you have to take these all-in trades, right, just go for a burst and then back off. Don't sit inside the passive of the Mordekaiser.
100% agree. Meanwhile, in the other side of the map, let's take a look at the bot lane. I think if we have to give an advantage, we have to give it to Lucian Nautilus in the early game.
Mhm.
Because once again, both these champions, they do pretty good, especially in the early game. So, interested to see whether or not Xayah Rakan is going to be able to, just sit back and relax and,
Yeah.
become the late game monster that we always see.
The thing is, this Xayah Rakan lane doesn't have to be hyper aggressive, right? If you go for Q-Max, Rakan is actually quite annoying because you
Oh,
can
yeah.
sustain up through
Mhm.
through the traits, as well as the range discrepancy between Xayah as well and Lucian. You can kind of kite back, consistently trade and heal up. It becomes very difficult for the Nautilus to deal with because every time you're going in, Xayah's laying feathers behind you, rooting you up, and then all they do is just pop the Q on Rakan, heal up, and then you fall behind the trade consistently, right? So if they go in, it has to be an all-in and a kill. Otherwise, in a war of attrition, I think the Lucian and Nautilus falls behind.
Yeah, 100%. Attrition is the one thing that,
Yeah.
Lucian doesn't want if he's not able to get.
Yeah,
Okay,
like
in
they,
the early
they
game,
suck
you
in a
just-
war of attrition.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think if Xayah can't play this well,
Mhm.
it's just going to be a super boring bot
Yeah.
lane. That's just how it goes. I think the main action that we're going to see is going to be in the mid lane.
Yeah,
And
you'll have to track.
potentially a top side.
You have to track how the Jarvan paths right now. I
Yeah.
think more importantly, Jarvan could do a very tricky, two, like buff to buff start, hit level 2 and then straight up go into mid lane and then force a gank, blow the flash of the Diana early. Alternatively, you could just sit and match and wait for Sejuani to come, right? Because if you have to drop, even though the 2v2 is stronger for Sejuani Diana, if you can catch them out early and you have the drop on them, it nullifies a lot of the lead that they have, because this set piece has to kind of set up the play, as it were, right? They have to be in position before the play can happen. They have to be nearby, they have to be focusing on the same target. There are a lot of requirements that have to be hit for this set piece to work.
100%. I think in the previous few games, we've seen a lot of safe Jarvan play, right? And the fact that you did pick Jarvan, you could actually go quite offensive, because honestly, he's just so strong in this current patch that I think you have to capitalize on that if you pick the champion. But we haven't really seen much of that. I think I want to see a bit more of counter jungling. I want to see a lot of invades. I want to see, like you said, the cheese buff gank in the mid lane coming out from the jungler.
To wit, I think counter jungling is only valuable if you literally walk in, steal 3/4 of the camps and leave stuff up, because then they're getting super little EXP. Even though they clear the camp and respawn quickly, you're still putting them behind, and you have an idea of where they're gonna be based on the information you get it from counter jungling. So the idea of counter jungling here, in my opinion, is not to steal EXP away, is to get information and put them behind.
Yeah. I believe one time in solo queue, I think it was recently, I saw, you know, it was against a Jarvan. I think it was a Lee Sin actually falling behind about 4 levels.
Yeah, this
so
is
that
very
was just
difficult.
super unfortunate, and we haven't really seen that. Would be interesting to see it.
Look
this
at
is
this
the Mordekaiser clear that we're
Mordekaiser
so
leash.
excited about.
Look at how disgusting it is. It's down to almost nothing at 1 minute 40.
That's
For
true.
reference, right, most junglers require a dual leash up to about 130. Right, so almost finishing at 140 is crazy, and this is a solo leash. Ugh, so nasty. It didn't reset though, so a bit of a misplay coming in.
Yeah. Oh, that's about 2-second tempo
It's okay,
sync
it's okay.
coming in from the Jarvan. Not gonna be a big deal.
This
as
is
well.
this is a fuse bet, because she has to walk to the top side. She only took 2, right? So now, where is she gonna get level 3? Is she gonna do? Oh man, don't do it. She's getting bits and pieces of each camp and hopefully hitting level 3 on the red. But then because there's a ward here, you're so far behind tempo and information.
Yep.
Would have just preferred if they went straight to Grom then red after this.
Yeah, for sure. That's super unfortunate from Sejuani now. Will she actually get level 3 from the red buff though?
Yeah, she will.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
By taking 2 and then moving over to the Raptors and red, sure you hit level 3, but you're super far behind. Right now, Jarvan's already
it's
level
already-
3.
yeah.
Could have ganked immediately if she wanted to. In fact, she followed. She did a 2 full top side clear, so hit level 3 based off that, and then now can look for mid or bot if she wants to.
Yeah, very efficient. The bottom already going in though.
Yeah, moving for the play, Angela very low, having to back off. No heal, no exhaust being popped just yet. The Guardian is actually enough to buffer the damage in. Now Zakia has to make the decision. Does she want to force a mid gank and transition to top Scuttle Crab, or does she want to play the bot Scuttle Crab and cover bot lane?
It's actually pretty far ahead in terms of tempo though, like we were calling out. It's actually gonna go for a bit of a just a bit of vision. Should be able to secure the bottom Scuttle Crab
So
without any contest.
if this is the play they're making, you can do some educated guesswork if you're a Jarvan. I hit the Sky's Blue, bot side is completely clear, so this means that it was cleared earlier, and now Sejuani is on the top half. What this means now is that, okay, we split the map. Sejuani, you're top side, I'm bot side. I'm gonna cover bot lane, take your camps, and then back off.
Sejuani going in though. Well, forced flash from the Cassiopeia.
Was not communicated to the mid laner. The mid laner should have known Sejuani was top side taking Scuttle Crab, therefore back off.
Yeah. Here's the issue though. Once your Cassiopeia doesn't have flash and she's this far behind, I don't. This is the beginnings of, you know, forcing the Cassiopeia back on the turret. It's really difficult for her to push up now that she is flashless and the Sejuani is around.
I'll be honest, Bisky is actually playing this lane very well, because normally in the range versus melee matchup, especially with Cassio, if you zone properly with the proper spacing, you actually force them off the wave very hard from into a melee matchup, right? But Bisky is actually doing super well in terms of keeping relevant in CS as well as EXP.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Almost missed the cannon minion. Almost tilted me there, but does manage to pick it up. So
this is a Diana pick that was prepared. You can tell she understands what she's doing here. It's not a random, oh, it's open, it's OP, we're gonna pick it. She understands how this matchup works.
yeah, we're seeing a little bit of divergence in the bot lane though. Not much action. I think there was a trade earlier, forcing Desire Rakan to actually have to back off. And it's just super unfortunate now because you did see in the bot lane Lucian did freeze that lane, so
it's gonna be frozen for another 2 waves. If you are Angela and Angie right now, this is the part you call for the Sejuani to come down to break the freeze. Yeah, there's no reason for you going top because this Urgot just has to sort of soak the damage, let the wave push in, it's fine. Sejuani, you go bot lane now. You either force burn flash with the CC, otherwise you help break the freeze. If you don't do that, bot lane is just going to be down like 25 CS, 30 CS.
100% bot lane is actually the one lane that I think definitely needs jungle attention from both sides at this point. I think the other lanes are pretty happy just going even, like you said, the Urgot is happy tanking. So I don't think, yeah, there's a ward there, so obviously you're not going to see too much from that pathing.
Look at the spacing coming in. Casio, even though hitting level 6 earlier than Diana, still has to play back a little bit. Has to be careful about how aggressive she is. And even though she's hitting the miasma, she's hitting the phase rush procs. She's not actively moving forward, right? Tells me she's not very comfortable with this matchup.
Yeah, I think this is super good though. They managed to push up that bot lane after the freeze. They understood that, hey, Zaya's back. Okay, let's push it on the turret. We have priority now. Let's go for the dragon. So they managed to pick up the Mountain Drake at 6 minutes without any contest coming from the
Because
Tigers.
there was a 2.5 wave stack in the bot lane that they shoved up, right? They basically crashed a full wave. And there are two things that you can do strategically to get max value when you crash a wave like that. A, dive bot lane with 4 members. B, move over to get free objective. They chose B, which is the lower risk, lower reward play. If you dive the bot lane, and the AD carry dies, she loses 3 waves of EXP and you probably get a bunch of turret plates. So they chose the easier execution one.
Yeah, keep in mind, especially with that, if they decided to go for the dive, then Zaya just came back. Sure, she's behind in CS, but at that point she did have the item advantage with 2 longswords, so going in might not have been the best idea.
It would have really required all players to be on the right page, and the moment you misplay, like, you just throw the lead that you build up by freezing the wave away.
But as it stands, they did not do that. They went for the dragon, so that is quite a good lead coming in. And just continue freezing the wave. Feels super bad for this Zaya Rakan.
See, the jungler is not coming down. This isn't being communicated. So fundamentally, as a team, they don't understand how lanes work, how waves work, which is a bad sign to me. If a team doesn't understand this, they're just losing laning phase from like just general basics. A lack of basics, rather.
Yeah, we talked about, you know, Lucian having to farm kills in order to get a hit, but at this oh, I'm gonna hold that.
Top lane coming in for the gank, and they're actually very low already, but we'll have the support of the Jarvan and should be able to find the first blood here. Quick and simple, very easy in terms of chaining CC. Now the bot lane is going to be pushing out, so they're finally calling for attention right now. If you are the bot lane of Sanzuwu, you have to be very careful, understand and respect the missing pings.
No, Sejuani, there's no way the gank would have succeeded. Sejuani did not check that bush. That's a
buddy,
control ward
buddy,
right there,
okay, buddy.
When she was standing on that plant, so nothing coming out from there. I still don't think she's gonna check it, so it's super unfortunate.
And because of the CS discrepancy, it's also translated into an item discrepancy. Give sword versus double longsword and Carl. If you take a 2v2 in the bot lane right now, you don't win at all, right? Just from the base damages of Lucian's ratios, you cannot take these trades. So what you have to do is just concede the wave. Every time they walk up aggressively, you have to concede. Look at this. Walk up, they have to back off. If they're all in, they lose here. I don't know why they're fighting. Going in once more, landing the CC. Managing to get a lot of damage down to Angela. In fact, even using the Ignite. So they trade 1 for 1. And now suddenly, guess what? ADC has to back off. We carry on the freeze.
Yeah, we're back to the freeze. You're not going to be able to pick up any more CS. It's already 12 in advantage to Lucian. Sure, not too much at this point, but
it gets worse.
It's going to get worse and worse. And top lane, just a bit more of a wet noodle fight. But the point was that, you know, Lucian, if he gets this far ahead, he doesn't even kill you at this point. Just taking it so much CS,
landing
fights across the map.
Petrifying Gaze there in the mid lane, actually catching Diana mid-dash, I believe, was the play, and right now coming to the top side. Remember that this is a very pesky way to gank it, but eventually they're going to pop the Death Realm. I think Urgot, though, might just get outplayed here, popping the Hex Drinker. Actually, one more auto attack might finish her off. She flashes across as well. They trade 1 for 1. Very unfortunate. And you have to think, this is why you need the Hex Drinker. Not just the Hex Drinker, but Executioner's Calling as well. The heal made it so difficult for her to fight.
Yeah, that was a beautiful Death Realm coming in from the Mordekaiser to dodge away from the Sejuani's stun. Yeah, honestly, if he did it, 100%. But ends up managing to trade 1 for 1, and that's going to be continued advantage towards the Mordekaiser.
Oh man, I hate to say it, but this is like bot gap right now because they don't know how to reset. The team doesn't understand how to play around this. And Zaya Rakan, for all intents and purposes, very strong at forcing ganks pre-6 or so. Like the moment the Nautilus comes in, you can soak the CC up, they're dead. Forcing the flash, here comes the Dredge Line, pulls her back in. Grand Entrance though will buy some space, but yeah, they're dead for sure. I don't even think the teleport is necessary here. Just the icing on the cake, but yeah, that's a double. It translates into turret plates and it translates into prio on the Ocean Dragon right now. So I'm not trying to be rude, but bot lane difference right now is starting to snowball.
Yeah, even if they do manage to understand that, yeah, you need to come down bot. Sejuani needs to come down
Yeah.
bot to fix this. Look at the amount of wards that Sanzuwu have in
yeah.
that bot side
They're
of
like,
the jungle.
You
so
want to
there's-
come and break this freeze? You
yeah,
can
but
try,
they-
buddy.
Yeah, they're gonna see him coming from miles away. That's the thing. And this is a
They can dive
little
this.
bit,
They
you
can
know.
dive this.
All right, Sejuani, you have to walk away. You know what you're trying to do here.
The danger is they're going to get a lot of plates, right? And Sejuani's coming in. She doesn't even have the ultimate, right? So what are you doing here looking to commit into bot lane? You're chasing the Mordekaiser off. Fine. That's all well and good. You can't stick around. You have to reset because top is going to get pushed in.
Yeah, and again, they come down with the priority play in the bot lane, and the dragon is now almost like, I think, 10 seconds away.
Yeah.
Oh, it's free. There's no way they can contest this at all if they are the Tigers.
In my books, giving the top plates over to the Urgot is fine because she's 0, 2, and 1. She's behind you, right? Oh, going in for the Dreadnought. Actually getting a lot of damage done. Decent knockup of the Grand Entrance. Can they steal
Wait
this
a
one away, though? Nope, it's going to be claimed by the Jarvan and a flash away from the Rakan to get out from the Flag and Drag. They get the Dragon. They get a free pickup in the form of the Sejuani. And now it's going to be Cloud Drake, Cloud Drake, Cloud Drake.
The team was not on the same page. Zaya was nowhere near that fight. That was a 2v3, I believe. And Sanzuwu, they just clean house and take everything from there.
Yeah, but back to my earlier point, it's okay to give the Urgot
Yeah.
the farm in the top side. She's already behind. Now, worst case scenario, if you are the Mordekaiser, you're even, right?
Yeah.
And you've proven that you can take the 1v1 just by nature of understanding how the matchup works.
We did point out that Urgot does have a win condition against the Mordekaiser, but again, like you said, when she's so far behind, even if you do manage to dodge all the skill shots and stuff, I don't think there is much of an avenue. Sure, it's still there,
Yeah,
but it's just super small at this point. You have everything has to go right.
yeah. And it doesn't help that Urgot didn't get execution. So when it comes to trading and sustaining, you don't have to all in if you're Mordekaiser. You just like Q, wait for the shield to build up, WW, and then heal it all back. Mordekaiser doesn't, excuse me rather, Urgot doesn't have that level of sustain in the lane, which makes it a lot more difficult. Sure, you can go for the all-in, you might be able to find it with the Fear Beyond Death. Whether you can get her health low enough to that point remains to be seen.
Yeah, taking a step back though, I really like how clean and decisive Sanzuwu has been across both of these games, but I'm going to hold that as honestly just a bit of skirmish.
So now that the darkness rises up, you have to back off. Oh, missing the Glacial Prison is going to hurt though. Popping the shield to Death Realm as well, and now she has to be careful about the spacing. Remember I was talking about this, the passive, the longer you stay inside Mordekaiser's passive, the worse it's going to get.
Wait.
We'll pop the Fear Beyond Death, but die first, and we'll not have it go off. So the moment the passive from Mordekaiser comes up, you have to reset, and then go out and come back in again.
100%. That was another overzealous play. Unfortunately, the Sejuani didn't mess the ultimate, so this is just going to be yet another objective going to the side of Sanzuwu. The Rift Herald, you have to think that with the amount of map control that they have now, it's going to be pretty damn worth it.
We'll see the Sejuani jumping over the wall, looking for the steal here, but having to flash out as well. Here comes the Diana though. Might be able to turn this play. A decent Moonfall coming in. They managed to steal away the Rift Herald here. I say that it's actually going the way of the Jarvan, so they will find a double kill there. Will not be able to steal away the Rift Herald, and guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Unfortunately, the Tigers are in a bigger hole than they were before.
Yeah, these contests, I have no idea why they continue to go for it one by one. I mean, if you want to do it, go into the pit as a whole unit, not individually. I mean, you can see the fruits of their labor right now. 0-0 on the Diana, 1-0 on the Sejuani. It's very unfortunate. They have to continue. No, they have to fix these issues and play as a cohesive unit.
There's the CS difference as well as the item difference in the bot lane is huge now. I was saying how it's going to translate into about 30 CS by nature of farming, by freezing farm rather. Because they managed to find the all-in as well. This is a Essence Reaver versus completely nothing, right? If they want to close out this game, like literally all they have to do is just 5-man bot one time, with the Rift Herald walk over to mid, open up mid tier 1 as well, and then the game is over.
Whew, take a look. Sejuani right now is actually just about 2 levels behind the Jarvan. Basically, his jungler doesn't get play League of Legends anymore.
Yeah,
Oh, but
there
they're
you
gonna
go. Finding it. Actually, might be able to find this. The Featherstorm pulling and rooting down the Lucian. Here comes the culling as well. Actually, decent damage, but here comes the teleport in from the Urgot. They have to block the Fear Beyond Death, which is going to be coming up relatively soon. So Nautilus understands this. He's like, you know what, stand behind me, buddy. Should be fine here, but they could re-engage. Flashing in, managing to throw her back in and land the Fear Beyond Death as well. So that's the CC. That is at least 1 kill picked up after committing the teleport in.
Yeah, that was you would have liked to get it on Lucian,
Yeah,
but you
you
know,
would have.
you would take any kill you can get at
That's
this
just
point. So.
Nautilus being a bro, right? Just
Yeah.
tanking up the knockback as well as the ultimate for Lucian, saying it's fine. A lot of the gold is on you, and rightly so. 300 bounty, hold on. Flag and drag coming in. Actually, a lot of damage here. Comes the move ball as well, but it's not sufficient. Managing to kite around, and this is what Cassiopeia does best. If you can't kill her in one shot, she's going to turn the fight around.
Yeah, flashing out, no way to get her. So yeah, you just die in the Cataclysm at that point, and we saw them pick up one kill in the bot lane and just lose two in the mid lane, and they're gonna lose turrets as well off the back of that play. So honestly, it's just getting bad to worse for the Tigers at this point.
This is a decent referral. They're not going to be able to get it without the referral, I think. So you might as well pop it. You get a second charge as well here. Top lane, Mordekaiser doesn't even have to all in, right?
Yeah.
All you have to do is just keep pressure on top of the Urgot and just do things like this. Trade, heal up, trade, heal up. It will become so annoying to the point where people will have to send two members to the top lane to deal with you. The sustain is ridiculous, and because you don't have executioners, there's nothing you can do about this.
Yeah, and take a look at the fact that he managed to even take down a tier 2 mid turret means that Urgot can no longer stay. If he stays there with no vision
just
in
rotate
his top
up and kill
corner,
him.
you just rotate up and kill him. So he's forced to back away. That's another turret going the way of Mordekaiser, and because they have priority over mid now, they can take the Cloud Dragon as well. Super clean play coming in from Sanzuwu.
I'm thinking right now, how do you come back into this? Do you just 5-man bot lane and try to lock the Lucian out? Oh, death round, buddy. Getting hit by the first Q, the Desolation coming through as well. One more auto will give her the Darkness Rises, and this is when things get bad. You get the movement speed, you pull her back in, you just walk her down.
Yep, there we go. And oh, we didn't
there we go, the
actually
5-man bot.
Well, on the
classic.
opposite side actually. So you know, that's all tier 1 turrets going down the side, going down to the side of Sanzuwu. Looking super clean, like I said earlier, and they're just gonna continue running it down.
If they open up bot tier 2, reset, and move over to the Rift Herald, there's a space for them to pretty much just take every objective on the map right now.
Yo, it's a 10k gold lead. At this point, I think even if the Tigers decide, hey, we're gonna try for like, what, a 3v5, honestly, I think there's a world where Sanzuwu just win that fight.
They could win the fight depending on who the 3 are. I feel like
that's
if you have Cassio, Nautilus, Lucian, you probably do win the fight. Just by virtue of the consistent DPS from Cassio.
This is how strong Endeavor is at this point, just proxying the wave. Rinda's trying to walk up, but exactly.
I'm telling you, it's frustrating because there's nothing much you can do. Right now, coming in though to help out this gank is gonna be the Diana. They might have enough damage. Fear Beyond Death actually chipping her down. Has to go for the second play, and thank goodness they managed to nail it on that try.
And that's a fat chunk of gold going into the pockets of the Tigers. Not nearly enough, I think, to claw their way back into this game. But, you know, it's a good start. They have to continue capitalizing on these, I'll say, overzealous misplays coming in from the side of Sanzuwu.
It's a game of inches right now. You just have to keep fighting for every small advantage you can find when their opponents overextend. If they get a bit too greedy, a bit too overconfident, that's when you kind of try and capitalize on it. That being said, though, as long as Sanzuwu aren't the ones making a mistake, it'll be very systematic for them to clear the game out.
Yeah, systematic, I think, is the word that we really have to talk about when it comes to Sanzuwu. I mean, they've played super clean once again in this match, and I think without these small mistakes that we keep seeing from, you know, different members of the team, I think they've been super good, and I don't think we're going to see enough mistakes coming from their side to give the Tigers the game.
Going for the Black Cleaver on the Urgot might not be the optimal item choice. I feel like you want health and you want utility right now. Your job is just to stay alive long enough so that you can pop off Fear Beyond Death.
Definitely, and right now Sanzuwu, what they want is the second Rift Herald, which is going to be spawned. Wait, so that's going to be Baron actually.
No, you can get Rift Herald first. There's a small window, 10
Like
seconds.
10-second window to take Rift Herald. Good luck to them.
If you start it, I think it extends the Baron spawn to 21 minutes if it's in combat. Oh, hold on, top lane, they're going for the play, but this is not the one that they want. The quickness on top of the Lucian, actually knocking up the Sejuani and turning this fight around. Can they fight the backline though? Jarvan going in, managing to get a lot of damage done actually. Having to kite out now is the play, and now they managed to pick up 2. It's the Diana, it's the Sejuani, and possibly delivers duel as well. Meanwhile, Endeavor is gonna kill Renda here, no doubt about it, just walking her down. There you go. Passive is rather OP, like I said. Oh, they didn't get in time because they were fighting topside.
I think you take that.
Yeah,
you take that trade. No Rift Herald for 3 kills at topside, and
don't do this. This is overzealous. Like don't
this
do
is
the Baron.
overzealous. I don't think they're gonna do it. So you know.
I saw a couple of pings. I was like, yeah.
They do have the vision set up
Right,
for it, though.
they
They
do.
already do. You take a look at all the wars they have in the top quadrant of the map. I mean,
If they want to do Baron, Mordekaiser has to be there because of the OP passive.
yeah.
Percentage damage over time against Baron is broken. Like,
Oh, they're doing it.
just look at how quick this goes down later on. I'm not even gonna talk. It's ridiculous, right?
The Tigers can't contest. Let's just sit in silence and watch them take the Baron, because honestly, there's not much to say here.
They're gonna try and go in for some vision, but it's gonna get spotted out eventually. Whether the Sejuani can come in for the play, though, highly doubt it. As the dredge line connects, this is an extremely dead Sejuani you have to feel. But no one wants to jump over the wall, so it's fine. She will get away with her life. But that Baron went down 40 seconds after it spawned.
They're not even giving them the potential for capitalizing on Sanzuwu's
Clean.
mistakes by not even making them.
Credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
I think they've been making the right plays this game, understanding, okay, if we freeze bot, what is the response? They have to come and unfreeze it. If they don't do that, we automatically win. And from then on, they just take all the right steps and start the snowball. League at this point, especially in this patch, is basically a game of making the right choices and seeing if your opponents can react correctly. If they fail to do so, then you just automatically get the lead for free.
Yep. This is 21 minutes.
Yeah.
If they get this dragon, they get the soul. Super high risk right now for the Tigers to be hanging
Can they
around
even
here with
contest
Joe.
this? Zaya isn't even around here. Diana isn't around here either. If they fail this
Mordekaiser on the
fight,
back.
Mordekaiser coming in for the flank. They're looking for the play, pulling the Rakan in. I don't think... okay, managing to get out with the quickness, as the name suggests. It will speed you up and get you out.
So Johnny's trapped here. Unless she dashes over
She's
the wall,
forcing-
she wants to steal it.
I
Not
don't
gonna
know about
happen,
this,
mate.
buddy. Yeah. Dredge line was a bit too late, and meanwhile Mordekaiser is just playing defense on the back line. Remember that Death Realm buys a lot of time and space, and this is an extremely dead Sejuani. Even though Permafrost comes in, the passive is just OP
Oh, what's the
and
damage?
able to finish them off. Here comes the damage on top of the Zaya as well.
Oh.
Decent Feather being recalled, but not enough for them to finish it off. I'm trying to, make this into a salvageable situation, but it seems like it's a bit too far gone.
It is way too far gone. Diana, where are you? Why are you in the mid lane when your team, your base is in shackles? They're going to take the inhibitor. They might even be able to take the game with 30 seconds left on Urgot.
They're tanking up the... Okay, yeah, they're probably going to finish this off here. The minions are moving in. Here comes the pullback in. Moonfall actually doing a decent amount of damage and a knockup as well from Rakan. So at this point, Sanzuwu might have overextended, but whether they can kite this one out remains to be seen. Cassio actually doing a lot of damage. There you go, Angela actually popping off here. Like I said, possibly salvageable. Cassiopeia has to heal up with the Twin Fangs first. I think that's the important thing. Landing the Twin Fangs and getting HP back from Ravenous Hunter as well as the base healing off it.
Yeah, good defense coming in from the side of the Tigers. I mean, yeah, could have definitely ended the game there. It could have been much worse. I mean, you saw the Lucian was actually untouched throughout the entire fight, so definitely could have been much worse when it came down to execution.
You could see the sparks of what this composition wanted to do though from the Diana as well as Rakan combo. It's usually Diana goes in first, Moonfall, and then Rakan lands the knockup after that. So I feel like that was what they drafted this composition for that's what they had in mind when they drafted this. But they just fell behind way too early and they couldn't piece it all together.
Yeah, you would think that with the last push that might be coming in the next few minutes, Sanzuwu should be able to just end the game outright. I mean, they lost that fight, sure, but they went back, they reset, they bought a ton of more items.
I like how you almost went there because
had to catch myself there.
I would have said the same thing too. We're at that point where like it's a boatload,
It is a
cruise load of items.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Managing to jump out. Dredgeline though actually managing to tap onto the backline. Cataclysm catches two members here. Here comes the depth charge as well. Remember that with the Castillo W, you're not going anywhere. Now they're fighting under the turret because they don't really care anymore. They just want to finish off this game and using the stopwatch to buy space. A great knockup from the Jarvan, actually finding three members there. And you can use the Blade Caller all you want, Zaya. There's no way of getting out of this fight. Ladies and gentlemen, as easy and clean as you like it, this should be the game for Sanzuwu.
Lucian did 0 damage that fight. They won that fight with Lucian not there.
Yeah.
That's how strong they were. The Nautilus walked at them. The Nautilus, one person walked into a 4-stack of the Tigers. That's how one-sided
Landed
this
the hook
game
on the Urgot. I was like,
was.
is that the smart play? And then everyone powers in. Yeah, that's the smart play.
It doesn't matter if the smart play when you're this far ahead. I mean, 26-7, good game to Sanzuwu. A very clean execution.
Unfortunately, no perfect game for the Cassiopeia, but that's Sanzuwu themselves showing that they're going to make a run for championship right now.
Absolutely.
With that form, with that macro and that cleanness, it's hard to argue against that.
Yeah, super good League of Legends coming in from the side of Sanzuwu. We harped on the fact multiple times throughout the entire game, but I think it's super, super deserved. A lot of praise has to be given to this lineup, and honestly, if they continue this level of play, they can definitely easily make the finals.
Watching this region as a whole in these qualifiers
Mm-hmm.
gives me a lot of hope for this upcoming FSL Elite, because every region has their own thing, right? But from what I'm seeing in the Philippines qualifiers, it's the fundamentals. Their fundamentals are so good when it comes to abusing matchups and knowing how to win by virtue of manipulating waves and playing the side lanes. Of course, there's some kinks to be worked out, don't get me wrong. That being said, the basics are good. The fundamentals are good.
And with 20 teams left, there's going to be still a lot of competition coming up. I think all of them are over at Tektite Stadium. Thank you for
once
the
again,
venue sponsor.
Yeah, Tektite
Yeah,
for
caught you there.
hosting our 20 teams, our participants getting in. Of course, that's what these sort of qualifiers are all about. I feel like the spirit, the community of gamers comes together when we play together in a cohesive space altogether. So for now, guys, we will be going for a short break. When we come back, we will have Ardent Esports versus Mob Esports next. I think the winner of this actually will proceed on into the upper bracket finals, where they will get a chance to play for a spot in the grand finals. So for now, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.